we are going to go ahead and work on the next step of our multimedia project. So I have my drawn out design on my paper here. I've got my aluminum that I'm using. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to fold the paper on the line the best that I can. You want it to be as close as you possibly can get it. And I'm just folding the paper here. Okay, this is on your original pencil line that you used to trace around your aluminum there. Okay, so that's what we're going for, as close to the line as you can get it. And you want it to be pretty straight so that it can tuck over your aluminum just like this. Okay, this is helping us for placement purposes. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom now. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm just doing kind of a soft crease to make sure I've got it right. That's about right. Okay, and so looking at my creases here, those look pretty good. Okay, and I'm going to do one more crease on this side right over here. Okay, so I have this side folded right over here as well, and this is going to help me place my aluminum correctly. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and lay this down here. And fold this back here. Okay, folding this over. Make sure I've got that. Okay, and then once I'm pretty sure I've got this decently aligned, I'm going to go ahead and take some tape and tape this down so it's nice and flat against that. And I'm going to tape on a couple of different edges. Okay, so this one, right about here. When you're taping, be very careful of those sharp edges, okay? So I'm just patting, I'm not going, I'm just kind of patting that tape down there. Okay, I'm going to press this down. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, this looks pretty good, this looks pretty good. Okay, and I think I'm going to add just one more, maybe right up here. Okay, so I've got 3 pieces of tape. I don't need to tape all the way around necessarily. I do want to make sure I have this kind of nice and flat. Looks pretty good. I bend this over here. I do notice this, it goes a little bit past my line. Okay, so I think I'm going to scooch this over just a tiny bit. Okay. And I'm just gently doing this. Masking tape should move pretty easily for you. I'll try that again. Take this one down. Take this side back down. And then I'm going to take this down. Okay. All right. Now I have this. I'm going to flip my aluminum over so I can look at my design again. And then I'm going to take the foam tray. This is extremely important. You have to do this step on the foam tray. So I'm going to take my aluminum and I'm going to lay it in the foam tray just like this. Okay, and I'm going to just use a regular old pencil and I'm going to start tracing over my lines that fall within that square. Okay, and actually I think for this one I'm going to turn my tray over a little bit. I think that might go a little bit more smoothly as long as I don't press down too hard. Okay, so I'm setting this down here. I've got my pencil and I'm just using a decent pressure here. You can actually also use a pen if you want to. That might be a little bit easier for you to see where you've already traced. You can even use a colored pencil. But you're going to trace your design. And you want to trace this really nicely. Now the important thing is to not untape your paper from your aluminum until you and I have had a conversation about this. Okay, if you untape it and it's not finished, you could be kind of in a world of hurt there because you cannot, it's really, really hard to kind of line it back up. So do not, absolutely do not untape it until we are 100% sure we're done and ready to go. Okay, so I've done kind of this outline right here. I'm gonna finish this part of my paintbrush on this side. Just like that. And I'm being very careful. I'm not working too fast because I want to, it's very important that I make sure my lines come out nice and smooth because you can't erase on copper or aluminum. Okay, so if I turn this over, you can start to see my lines are coming through, right? So you can see a little bit of this. Okay, what I can see whenever I feel this, there's some parts that are a little bit deeper than others and some parts that are a little bit kind of shallow. I think I'm actually going to switch over maybe to a colored pencil because I think that it's easier to press down with a colored pencil for this. And so I'm going to just grab one that I have sitting right here, okay? And I'm going to go over a couple of these lines again just because I want to make sure that they are easy to see. And again, I don't want to press so hard that I'm breaking the foam, but I do want to press hard enough that I can easily see my lines that I've drawn, okay? Oh, that is much better over here. I'm going to do a little bit more on the top. Okay. But it's very important that we kind of work slowly at this and take our time because again, you can't erase any mistakes on here. Okay, then I can start sketching in the rest of the steps. So I'm just tracing over these lines that I have. Like that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add in these lines here. Just like that, and then I can flip it over and kind of look and see how things are going so far. So not too shabby. You can start to see some of my stuff is coming through. Okay, and you want to make sure that you're getting all of those lines drawn in there. Just like this. Okay, so I've gotten those lines in there. I can go in and add this texture, and then you're going to start working on your designs within the square here. Okay, and I think for added measure, I'm probably okay. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and start working on some of my designs here, and you want to make sure you're getting all of those knocked out, right? We don't want to skip around too much on those, but you do want to do at least to the edge of your square and make sure that it's going to the edge or a little bit beyond the edge of your copper, right? So I can start sketching in this design right here. Okay, and then you can see I'm starting to get those shapes over here on the back of my aluminum that I have. Okay, so remember it's very important to keep these very close and still so you don't miss anything here. Okay, we don't want any wiggle room. If you need to add a fourth piece of tape, you totally can, but we want to make sure that we're pressing down decently while we're working on this so we don't lose any of our designs. Okay, so that's going to be our main focus for this step. And then in the next video, we'll talk about what happens once you have everything else traced out and you're ready to go. Okay, so we're just going to keep working on this. Using a good amount of pressure, going slow enough that we can be accurate with our design. Okay, because we want to show good craftsmanship there. Okay. And when you're working on this, your pencil or whatever material you're using doesn't have to be particularly sharp. I think it's easier if it's a little bit dull, just because you can press down a little bit harder and you don't have to worry about the lead breaking. Okay, so if I flip this over, you can start to see more of my design coming through. Okay, and so you're going to keep working on this step, and this is our focus for now. We'll talk about the next step in the next video. Ciao.